that last a lifetime.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. It's no surprise, I'm a minimalist. I have hardly any stuff. And you may have heard me say many times that life's not about the accumulation of stuff. To me, it's about the accumulation of experiences and relationships. Because when a person buys stuff, usually the thrill, the excitement is short term. Whereas if you have an experience, especially with friends or relatives, then the thrill of the moment is exciting, but also in the long term, the memories can last a lifetime. Now, I've been lucky because I've had a lot of great adventures in my life, and there's been a lot of surprising moments that were thrilling at the time, and I still think and talk about them to this day. And tonight, I'm going to share with you two such experiences that prove to me that experiences are more important than stuff. And that first experience occurred in Fairbanks, Alaska. We need a new one of these, like desperate. It's not working. It's a battery guy. Okay, in Fairbanks, Alaska, I'll just have to point to you, I guess. There it is. The first one happened in Fairbanks, Alaska. In Fairbanks, Alaska, I was hired as a residence hall director at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I was in charge of residence hall, but I also did activities. And I always like to do cool activities. We rappelled off of our building. We had something called the suitcase dance, where you had to bring a suitcase with your clothes, and you got to, at 11 o'clock, we selected one person, and we drove them to the airport and flew them to Anchorage for the weekend. And we even had ballroom dancing lessons, which I sucked at that. That's one for you, Adley. But one day I said, I got a great idea. Why don't we get a van and take some students and staff to Chena Hot Springs? That would be really cool. They're like, oh. Everyone thought that's a great idea. So I made the arrangements, and myself and 12 other students and staff went to Fairbanks. And we drove up to, it was about 2 hours to get to Chena Hot Springs. And we finally get to Chena Hot Springs, and we left this Saturday. So we got there later in the afternoon, and we kind of hung around for a while. But we all agreed that we would go into hot springs at night. So after dinner. Because after dinner, we went into the hot springs, and in the indoor hot springs, it looked like just a pool. It was pretty cool. But then all of a sudden I asked, where are my crazy people? Who wants to go outside? Because outside it was negative 40 degrees. But the water was 106 degrees. And there was snow all around us. It seemed really weird. Think about it. It's 106 degrees in the water, and it's negative 40 degrees outside. So what happens is a strange phenomenon. Every 10 minutes, someone would have to say dunk. Dunk. Why? Because in 10 minutes, people's hair would freeze into an icicle like this. So when I tell people that, they're like, nah. No, it would look like something like this. Or if you had long hair, it's even cooler. So every 10 minutes you had to dunk your head. And you know what was even cooler? When we popped up our heads, we would just look up and watch the Aurora Borealis overhead. It was really cool. So all the people who were at that trip, it was a great experience for them, and they will never forget it for the rest of their lives. Really cool. The second experience happened in Sitka, Alaska. When at Sitka, Alaska, I worked as the director of residence life for Sheldon Jackson College. It was a small college. So I was in charge of all the housing, but I also dabbled in activities. And our school had a retention problem, and I was talking to the dean, and my dean's like, man, we got a retention problem, what can we do? And I said, what we need to do is some real activities. I go, we do all these mamby-pamby activities, kind of like bowling and ice cream socials. I go, there's nothing wrong with that. I go, for a college like ours, we got to do some real Alaskan activities. He goes, what do you think? So I walked outside, I looked outside, and go, what I think is we need to climb that volcano and sleep in a crater. He's like, what, are you out of your mind? So of course I arranged it. So me and 27 students and staff took a boat out there, and we went on a Friday afternoon, and we were there for 2 days because the boat wasn't coming back for 2 days. It was like 27 people, like a landing of the Marines on a beach. Okay, so we're all on the beach. And it was late in the afternoon. And I said to everybody, okay, where are my crazies? Where are my crazies? Okay, I said, crazy people come with me, because we are going to hike at night. Okay? And we're going to hike up to a lean-to. And the rest of you who don't want to come with me can stay on the beach and hang out all day or go up to the beach, whatever you want to do. But 8 students decided to come with me up to the lean-to. Right? It was like 3.5 miles. Now I said, now when we go, we have to have lamps. You have to follow me. It's kind of raining out and there's a lot of muskeg. So watch out for the mud holes. Watch out for the mud holes. Sure enough, I'm hiking along. I don't have my glasses because it's kind of raining out. And I'm hiking along, and I see 2 mud holes. But there was like a bridge in the middle. So I was like, oh, I'll just step on the bridge. But I don't have my glasses on, so what happens? I miss, and I slip. And I'm like, well, how deep could this mud hole be? And I follow it up to my waist. Oh. All of a sudden, I pulled myself out. And I looked at my staff and the students, and all I saw was this. And I knew at that moment, I had to say something clever, something that would build confidence. I looked at him, I said, well, now that I'm well insulated, let's go! And watch out for the mud holes. So of course I got mud jokes for the rest of the way up to the hut. But we did get to the lean-to. There was 9 of us who slept there, and it was really cool. We had a really great time. And if you notice, there's me with dark hair. We had a shotgun. We also had to watch out for bears, because there's bears all over the place. And then we hiked another 3 miles up to the top of the crater. And all the students were like, some of them are concerned about sleeping in a crater. And they asked me, is this an active volcano? I said, yeah. They said, when's the last time it erupted? I said, oh, I don't know, 5 years ago? When does it usually erupt? I don't know, every 10,000 years? No, I mean, I said it the other way around, but I kind of hinted to him that it could erupt. And then I went up to one of the students and I said, if it gets really hot at night, wake me up, please. But it was really beautiful. We were checking out, that's me checking out Sitka from the other end. And it was just a bunch, that's me again, with a bunch of students. Now a funny story was that when we were hiking up, it was very steep up to the top of the volcano. And someone gave me a hunk of salmon. And I ate it. But I got the bone stuck in my throat, it was like this long. And it wouldn't come out. But you know, this is Alaska. You see this little girl, this student right here? She offered, and she did, to stick her finger down my throat to pull it out. Only in Alaska would that happen. It didn't work. Actually, what ended up working was eating a bagel. Someone said, eat a bagel. And I ate a bagel, and it did actually pop out, which was interesting. But the experience itself was just, the experience was tremendous. And I will never forget it, because it was such a crazy idea that worked out really well. Now Christmas is coming up, and all of you are probably got gifts, and you're going to be getting stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I challenge you to think about Christmas, not just about the stuff, but think about the experience you're going to have and the people you're going to be with. Because the thrill of gifts and stuff is only short term. But the thrill of having an experience will create memories. And memories can last a lifetime. Mr. Toastmaster. No, I'm not in that picture.